Good afternoon, Eric the Racket Scientist here, and I am very excited for this this episode, because I have something that I personally am very excited about. I don't know how excited you guys are for this, but I'm very excited. And the reason I'm very excited is because if you watch some of my other videos, you might know that one of my favorite rackets of all time is the Axforce 80 from Li-Ning. So here's a standard one. Okay, so it's mostly black, matte black. Came out a few years ago, maybe 2022 or something like that. Maybe even earlier. Not super sure. But it was the first high-end racket to come out in the Axforce series, which nowadays we take for granted because there are a lot of Axforce rackets now, and Li-Ning is even starting to kind of roll out their second generation Axforce products. Like we have Axforce 90 New, that's kind of a new product, and there are more Axforce rackets coming within the next year. We already know that there's an Axforce 100 version 2 as well. There's an Axforce 80 Lite as well that came out, so that would be kind of like a 5U, slightly more flexible version of this thing, which I don't know why that's not just Axforce 70, but I don't make the decisions here. Axforce 80, yeah, one of my favorite rackets. It is a bit of a polarizing racket. Okay, not everyone's gonna like this. In fact, a lot of people that try this, that I know have tried this, actually kind of don't really like it. I think it's because it takes a very specific swing style. It's got kind of a composition that's really uncommon these days, which is, by modern standards, a pretty long shaft, kind of a really boxy frame, whereas most rackets nowadays have shorter shafts, more aerodynamic frame for fast attacking. So this really kind of goes against the grain, but I really like the way this racket feels. And so that brings us to here. So what's so special about this guy? This is, as you guessed, a variation of the Axforce 80. It's a limited edition, and this is the Chunlong limited edition. And this also came out a few years, I think it came out maybe a year or two after the original Axforce 80. And it came out because, well, the way they advertised this racket is that they were saying, oh, Axforce 80 was the final racket that Chunlong used in his career. And I don't remember if that's true or not. Like, in that I don't remember if it's true that he competed with this racket. But, I'm sure it's worth something. They say that Chunlong was very picky with his rackets. And honestly, nowadays, I talked about this with my friend recently, there's not a whole lot of like player edition rackets. Like there are limited edition. I know there's China team version Yonex rackets. I know that Zheng Siwei and Huang Yucheng had specific Arc 11 and Astrox 77 colorways, and I think Chen Yufei had one as well. It's kind of there. And but other than that, Victor Axelsen just got his 100ZZ, which honestly took quite a long time. I mean, he's already got 2 Olympic medals. Even after the first Olympic medal, I feel like that was kind of a justification for him to get that. And there's a lot of top players out there that I think kind of should have a signature racket, but don't really. I think the big one that comes to mind is Kento Momoda, who I think everyone kind of knows that the Astrox 99 was kind of designed around him. But to my knowledge, I don't know that there was ever a special players edition. Whereas, back in the day, Lindan has a lot of trademark rackets. There were a lot of trademark Li Chongwei rackets. Peter Gay as well, and Taufik, and yeah, so. But anyways, yeah, let's take a look here. So if we look at the colorway on the original Axforce 80, we got this nice matte black, and we have this kind of designs. I like this because it's pretty modern, and like not very polarizing graphic. It's just very straightforward. It's like just a nice matte black with some colored accents. Like maybe you like pink, maybe you don't. But you can't deny that the contrast is good. The graphics line up with the frame pretty well, and there's just a bunch of these like kind of lines. They're like textured and stuff going around. Now the limited edition has a much more intricate pattern, and as well it should, because it's, you know, it's a special edition. As you can tell, this is a used one. I woke up yesterday morning and just saw this on Marketplace, and you know, I kind of just had to go for it. It made me really happy, and it was an impulse buy because I knew that when this came out on Taobao in China, it was the equivalent of, I think it started at a price of like 370 US dollars, and that's in China. You know, some of them ranging up into the $400 range. So to be able to get this in the US used for a decent price was really worth it for me. And only two tiny little chips there, but otherwise very beautiful. So I mean, just starting with the base color, I don't know really how well you can see this on camera. I'm gonna tilt this around. This, just like the base metallic red color, is absolutely gorgeous. You know, it has a lot of depth to it, and it, you know, kind of really looks like a car paint almost. If you guys know, the like the Soul Red that Mazda has is kind of widely regarded as one of the best red paint colors currently offered in the car market. And we can also see that the Axforce logo is a little different. It's got some really aggressive, like, you know, kind of claw marks. Okay, yeah, very masculine, very nice. We've got the similar rackets of like just lines and stuff, and they're just red and white, and it's not a big deal. We got some extra stuff here. We got like these, like, I don't know, I guess it's like kind of dragon graphics. I think a lot of the additional details are actually on the inside of the frame here, which is kind of cool. Like you normally don't get that on rackets, because this is like, it's a lot more difficult to apply them on the inside, more time consuming, drives up manufacturing cost. But we can see that there's like a little kind of dragon graphic there. And then towards the top, we have, yeah, so it says, I don't know how well you can see that. This actually is Axforce written here in red textured text. And then there's more, I suppose, dragon scales here. And it's all raised and textured, so you can actually feel them. The kind of the wording here, this here in the original one, this where it says power and all this other stuff, that's here too. It's also in this shiny gold, and yeah, again, this paint in general just feels super nice. Like it really reminds me of the old school. You know how like kind of back in the day, like, you know, when there were like armor techs and stuff, the paint felt like kind of different, more metallic and stuff. This feels like that. So it's like, it's really cool to touch. It doesn't feel very plasticky. It feels like really nice. Moving down here to the shaft, you got a dragon graphic here as well, and some dragon scales under the Axforce 80 logo. It looks really nice here. And then again, kind of around where this arrow is, you got some dragon claws or whatever. Moving on to the cone, obviously instead of Li-Ning logo, you have a C with a crown, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, original one just has Li-Ning logo there. Yeah, I thought this was kind of, well, obviously it stands for Chunlong, but like something about this font just this doesn't quite vibe with the rest of this racket, in my opinion, but that's fine, little touch there. Cone seems to be the same. And then the end cap. So in this era, all of the end caps on the Axforce rackets had like this carbon fiber texture, which is really nice, by the way, and I love that. And then this guy has just like 中国, yeah, on the bottom, which is cool, but like I kind of wish that they put more effort into this, because it's just red plastic. Like if they put 中国, but like, you know, on the carbon fiber, that would have been super sick. It's like, you know, you already did all these extra details anyways. Like what's a little extra detail, right? So, but no, that's just me. So, And the final detail. Okay, so the biggest reason I picked this up, first of all, beautiful racket. That already kind of makes it worth it for me. But actually, the biggest reason I picked it up is because it's actually a little functionally different. I don't know about balance and weight yet, but I do know that at the very least, this actually has more frame recess than the original Axforce 80. So if I put them side by side here, and then I kind of move them over here, you can see that the normal Axforce 80 recess ends just past the, so if this is 3 o'clock, then it's like, I don't know, 3:15, 3:20. And then the Axforce 80 Chunlong edition, it ends here. So it's not that much. It's maybe like 2 inches more recess on each side, but it is a difference nonetheless. Other than that, everything else kind of looks the same. Shaft and flex are advertised as the same. T-joints look the same. The head shape also seems to be the same, although it's hard to tell because one of them is strung and one isn't. So if I were to cut these strings, which by the way, what is even on this 65 Ti? Because sometimes stringing can distort the head. So if I were to cut this and see, then I would kind of have a better idea. Handle is the same. Obviously, end cap I pointed out is different. So overall looks quite similar except for that recess. And you might think like, oh, is it worth it to buy a new racket just for that little bit of frame recess? No, it's all those factors combined, right? It's the fact that it's a little bit, they put a little bit more thought into it, and the fact that it's like really beautiful and stuff like that. And the thing is at the full price at $370, I'm like, especially if I need to go all the way to China to get it for that price, it's like, maybe not worth it. But like, yeah, if it's used for like under $300, it starts making sense, and it's just different value for everyone, right? And that's kind of the story there. Okay, so getting started, we immediately see, well, first of all, there's this extra staple at the bottom of the grip. So let's take that off first. Don't need that. But immediately we're seeing why I like to put that, why I like to clean the grip and then put the electrical tape on, because the last person who used this, he did take off the under grip. I'll give him credit for that. And the handle actually does look pretty clean. However, the foam wrap, the cushion wrap, really likes to stick to stuff. So if there's even the slightest bit of adhesive, which there's a tiny bit, or even just the bare wood, it gets stuck, and now we have to do this, which is a little bit annoying. I would have preferred either you leave the original undergrip on, or you put your electrical tape on, but maybe it's not the exact way I would do it, but that's fine as long as it protects or maybe even like 2 overgrips, right? Like you put on a super grip and you put on another one on top of that. That's fine too, but don't do this. The other reason why you don't do this is not just because like when you sell it, the stuff is going to stick and the next person is going to have to kind of tear it off. Is the cushion wrap is like, I guess what I would say a consumable, in that every time I regrip my racket, maybe not every time, but like at the very least every few times you grip your racket, like you want to replace the cushion wrap. It kind of gets squished down over time, and eventually it just doesn't really do anything. So, you would be doing this to yourself too. So it's like if this is your racket and you put the cushion wrap on and you don't protect the wooden handle, then like every time you regrip your racket, like you have to deal with this too. So I'm not really just saying this for my own sake, but just it really doesn't take that much time. Like you don't have to be as meticulous about as I am about it, but like it will really just save you a lot of time, and it'll look better if you protect your handle with something. Don't don't put it directly on. Honestly, even if you use towel grip, if you stick the towel grip directly on the wooden handle, like, I don't like that, but like it's still like not the worst in the world. It's just really the adhesive plus this cushion wrap directly on the wood just makes it like kind of. I guess another question you might have watching this is like, oh, I'm a fan of Chunlong. Is that also why I got this racket? I mean, yeah, between being a fan and like hating him, I would say like, yeah, he's cool. I like to watch him. Um, he's not my favorite player of all time, not even in singles, but like, yeah, definitely a great player. Have a lot of respect for the guy, but I definitely didn't get it because it's his racket. You know what I mean? Like, I would have wanted to get this racket even if it was just, Axforce 80 limited edition color, that had some functional differences. I would have gotten it if it was a different player. If Yuta Watanabe gets his own Axforce 80, for sure I'm gonna see if I can get that, but I don't know if he's done enough for badminton to deserve that. The newer Li-Ning rackets also have a slightly different end cap style. It's the older ones had no perforations, and some of them kind of slanted more. And this one kind of does have those, so don't know if that like saves weight or increases the structure. It really doesn't matter, and I don't think it makes a difference to anybody. Yeah, I will say that even though this handle from a distance may not look like a good quality wood handle, if you've seen my videos with like the Mizuno rackets, then that's kind of typically what I mean by good quality wood handles. 1 second. Because the wooden Mizuno handles are always really good, and JP Unix handles, like very clean, very straight grain, pretty firm. This doesn't look good from a distance because of, I think, all the paint, and there's like some peeling paint here, but I can assure you that this, I think this is a pretty nice block of wood. The grain is extremely straight. There's not a lot there's not a lot of angle to it. It took a long time to clean off this grip, not because there was a lot of stuff like volume wise, but because there's a lot of really tiny spots that were like a little fuzzy. There's still like a few here or there, and those are the ones that I really want to get rid of because they can cause lumps. So just going again very carefully over with my fingers and trying to feel for any bumps or whatever. But yeah, overall, this is actually quite a nice handle, which is a good thing. I think the most tragic thing is to have like a really nice racket, but kind of a handle that doesn't hold up to it. Actually, there's a little bit more stuff on here that I might be able to get rid of. It's maybe like over here. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell, but I think that's about as good as it goes. And one thing we can do to just ensure that there's no fuzzy parts is to literally just go and like wrap the whole handle with the tape to get off any sticky stuff, and then undo it and then wrap it again like a final time. So that's actually what I'm going to do here, just because I want it to be nice. You can see that I'm not really like putting a lot of effort into making this nice. And that's basically the end of the roll anyways, so. So that's it for this. You can even check to see what's come off. A little bit of residue has come off. And then we just start a new roll. Looks good. And now we put our beautiful cushion wrap over the tape so that it doesn't stick to anything. Who knew it were that simple? Not the worst, I guess. I do actually have red, but I do not like red super grap. For those of you who don't know, the darker super grap colors, they feel more slippery, more slick, partly due to the color pigment in the grip. So those are inferior. Generally want to go with light colors. Yellow is fine to me just because, like, you know, yellow and red are like Chinese colors, so that's what we're sticking with. All right. It's a bit of a pity to wrap over the Chunlong C, but I'm sorry. Sorry, Chunlong. This is how I do my grips, and I cannot compromise on that. So goodbye. And voila. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is great, and really like how this racket looks. This might be, I mean, it's not in perfect shape, but this might be probably my favorite collector's item racket, I guess. I don't usually go for, you know, limited edition rackets, but I kind of already explained why I really like this one. So yeah, I'm glad to be able to have one. I hope this was as interesting for you as it was for me. I can't wait to try it out. To be honest, I really don't think I'm going to feel that much of a difference between this and the standard Axforce 80, unless there's, you know, kind of more different stuff going on inside the frame, or if the balance is actually different or anything. But other than that, this is just a nice addition to my collection. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video.